Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jesse and I'm your host and drawing instructor here on Kid Zone Artapalooza. I want to welcome all of you guys to my channel. For those of you that are new here, we create some really cool drawings and paintings on my channel. So if you guys think you may like some of that stuff, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share my content if you think others would benefit from the videos that are on here. Today's episode, we're going to be learning how to draw Pikachu. Pikachu comes in as a request from Macy, who's 8 years old and lives in Las Vegas, Nevada with her two sisters and her mom Lexi, who's a friend of mine. Macy wants to learn how to draw Pikachu, so we're doing Pikachu. I'm going to be using a number 2 pencil with an eraser, and I'm going to be drawing Pikachu on an 8 by 10 inch canvas. So you guys that have followed my other videos in the past know that whatever materials you guys have in your house, at your home, is what you're going to be using, right? So if you don't have a canvas board, don't worry about it. If you just have drawing paper, construction paper, etc., use what you have, all right? I might be painting Pikachu when we're all done. I'm not sure yet. I might be painting him when we're all done with the drawing process, but we'll see how much time there is left on the video. I don't like to make my videos too long. Maybe we'll do it in 2 parts. We'll see. Anyhow, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, get your pencils ready. We're drawing Pikachu. Gotta sharpen that. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, getting ready to draw Pikachu. As I always say, first thing you guys want to look at is the overall shapes of whatever it is you're going to draw. This is the first time that I'm drawing Pikachu, so I want to look at him, do a quick kind of assessment or analysis, right, of Pikachu. So what does he look like? Overall, his body is a little bit of kind of a long oval, like this, kind of a long oval, right? He's got a little round head, roundish head, pointy ears are almost like triangles. His cheeks and his eyes are, they're perfect circles. So kind of pretty basic. His tail is a lot of almost straight lines. So nothing too crazy here. So like I said, the first thing, I'm going to turn this guy like this. I want to draw him like this. When I'm drawing, whatever surface that I'm drawing on, I need to make sure that I have enough room, right, for his ears. I don't want to make them too big that I don't have room for his ears. And last thing I want to do is start drawing him and then later on realize, oh, dang, I didn't leave enough space for his ears. So whatever you're all drawing on at home, make sure you guys are looking for that, right? Make sure you're making them the right size so that you have room to put everything on whatever it is that you're drawing. So here we go. Let's do his overall shape first. Now, folks, I'm sorry, I'm over at an angle a little bit, so it's a little hard. I'm not right in front of the canvas, so it's a little hard for me to do this. I'll do my best to do it from my angle, okay? But what we're going to do first is create that overall body shape. So his head is about right here, the top of his head. Bottom, this right here, this little area right in here between his feet, it's probably about right here. Okay, so I'm going to lay those marks down first. And I'm doing this in pencil. It's going to be really light and hard to see at the beginning. But as I progress, I am going to darken the lines up with either pen or colored pencils. So again, this is about where we are here for the bottom part of his body, not his feet, the part right in between his little feet, and then at the top of his head. All right, so from here we're just going to draw an overall shape of his body. Keeping my pencil marks light so that I can erase if I need to. I will need to. That's just how it goes. Especially when it's the first time that I'm drawing something. Definitely a lot of erasing happens. Okay, so that's our overall shape. And hopefully you can, I'm sure I can see it in my camera here on the screen on my camera. So I'm sure you guys can see it at home as well. Like I said, in a little while I'll come in and darken it up. So his neck, where his neck would be, I know Pikachu doesn't quite have a neck, but his little head here, his face would come across, but his little cheeks or his jowls are about right here. So I'm just going to mark those off. And I say about because I can come back and make adjustments if I need to. Those of you at home, if you don't get it quite right and you're going along and need to make adjustments, just make the adjustments. Erase and make your lines again. Okay, a lot of people don't like to erase. There's nothing wrong with erasing. It's all part of the drawing process. All right, so those little cheeks that come over. Kind of do that. We'll do one on each side, kind of like that. From there, comes up to the top of his head, comes over, comes back down. Okay, just like this. Okay, so this, of course, is his little head. All right, let's look at his body now. His body is about right here. This line right here starts about here, comes down almost straight, and then it curves in. Same thing on the other side. Comes out, straightens out, and then curves in. So it comes out, straightens out, and then curves in. All right. I'm not going to include his feet just yet. I'm going to go ahead and come across all the way to the other side and connect the lines. All right. So let's assess. Take a look, see what we got. All right. I can adjust his cheekbones a little bit, his little cheeks. Made them a little too, they stick out a little too far. And then I can make an adjustment to his head too. Remember what I said about erasing and adjusting. Nothing wrong with it. There we go, much better. All right. On the top of his head. Come over. I'll leave you a little space for his ears. Nothing. You don't have to do it at home. Do this at home. Okay, there we go. All right, let's adjust this cheek. So his little cheek does this, comes over, too far, no big deal, we adjust it. And then up. All right, just like that. Okay, now his body. Let's do the same thing for his body. We're just refining everything. We're making adjustments. Like that. Same thing on the other side. Like that. Clean that up. Now I'm going to leave this little space on each side where his feet would be. Little space, come up, and from here, come over, just like that. All right, cool. So now we have his general shape, right? His general shape is all in place. The outline of the main part of his body is all in place. And we can still make some adjustments. Like I can see here, if I do this and look at it a little closer, and I'm going to do this for a moment, turn it my direction so I can better see what I've got. I'm going to make an adjustment to his body here to make it look more like the original. So this comes out a little further, right? Just like that. Comes in, all right? And then this side too. Comes out a little bit. There we go. Much better. Much more like the original. Now let's work on his ears. So this little ear protrudes. This little right ear comes out to about right here, so I'll mark that little spot off first, and then I'll bring that in, just like that. And then same thing on this side. Now his ears are kind of like triangles, right? If I was to close this off right here, it's almost like a triangle. Triangle with curved sides, all right? So let's do the same thing for his left ear. So let's figure out where the top of his ear would be, which is about right here. And then from there, I'm going to cover that. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, and then the other side. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I put my palm, or the side of my hand, my fingers like this, onto the canvas. And I used that to stabilize my hand. This is often hard to do, right? To do it with your hand free floating in the air, it's hard to do. Another way you can do it is if you're drawing on a table, you can put your non-drawing hand on the table and use the wrist place your drawing hand on top of the wrist to stabilize it, okay? All right, cool. Let's do his little feet. His little feet, this is almost like a little triangle, this part right here. Like so it comes out, little triangle. Okay, like that. And then this part in the back is right here. So we just connect the two pieces. Okay, here we go. Other side, same thing, triangle to the right, comes out. A little pointy, like we're doing a triangle, come back. And now the foot, the back of the foot connects right here. Bring this down, bring that over, and connect them. Let's do the toes. He has 1, 2, 3 toes. So 1, 2. So all you need is 2 lines to make 3 toes, because you got 1, 2, 3 toes. Same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3 toes. All right? So all we need is 2 lines for that. This first line right here. All right, cool. Then the second line. There we go. 1, 2, 3 toes. All right, cool. Let's do his little arms now. Let's make his little arms. So we just got, each arm has 2 little lines, 2 long lines that go like this, and then he's got his little fingers, little pointy fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers. All right. So let's start with the line on the outside on his left arm. Okay, here we go. So this is halfway up his body like this. Okay, you can even draw a little line across halfway up his body. Little bit. His little hands are almost, they're just a little bit lower than his little fingers, I should say. Right here is about, would start right below that line. So here's your halfway line. Halfway lines are across here on the original. And his fingers would probably start about right here, just to give you a little bit of a reference point. So you don't go too high or too low on those arms. So I'm going to start with this line right here. It comes down. I'll stop right there. I'll do the other line next. This one. Stop right about, whoops. Erase that. Stop right about there. Okay, let's go to the other arm. We'll do this line first. Go over to the side. Bring that down. Stop right there. Other line up on top. Stop about right there. Okay, before we do any little fingers, let's look at those lines. Let's look at those arms. Are they okay? Do they look like we need to adjust them a little bit? This one needs to be adjusted a bit. So always look, right? Always take a look at what you've drawn and make decisions. Do I need to adjust them? Are they too wide? Are they too long, etc.? So let's compare it to the original. And maybe this one needs to come up and inside a little bit. And this line needs to come over a little bit as well. So this entire arm, this entire arm is coming over. Drawing, creating, whether you're painting, sculpting, etc., it's about making adjustments as you're going. There's nothing wrong with making adjustments. Okay? All right, there we go. Now let's do his little fingers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're almost like little teeth on his hands. 3, 4, 5. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. All right. All right, there's Mr. Pikachu's arms. Let's do his eyeballs, his eyes. So again, across the middle of his face, or right about where the top part of his little cheeks are, right? So if I do a line across, just to kind of give me a little bit of a reference point, that little line will go across almost the center of his eyes, almost. So I'm using this line for reference. I'm going to do his left eye first. Look at my hand on my table. The drawing hand on top over the wrist. Here we go. One on his right eye. His right eyeball now. Come over about here. And you want to make it about the same size as the other eye. All right? If one eye's too big, one eye's too small, just adjust it. And I can tell you this eye's a little further to the inside. I want to bring it out a little bit. Nothing wrong with erasing. You make your shapes, you draw, put your lines in place, and if Doesn't look right, make a little adjustment. Nothing wrong with that. There we go. All right. Now, let's make the little pupils, those little white areas on the inside. One here and one here. Look how cute he's looking. All right, let's make his little nose. His little nose is right in between his eyes, but it's a little lower than that, right? It's like almost lines up with the bottom of his eyes. So the top of his nose lines up almost with the bottom of his eyes. So if I did a little line across the bottom of his eyes, like this, from there I can just make a little triangle nose, upside down triangle, and we got a little Pikachu's nose, right? Almost like a little tiny triangle. Now let's do his little mouth. His little mouth. It's two little curves. Just like this. So from the center of his nose, we drop down a little bit, just a little bit, make that center part. Start almost like an upside down frown. From there, we just curve up the sides. Now he looks like a happy Pikachu. Look at him. Okay. Now his cheekbone, his little cheeks, little rosy cheeks. Okay, right over to the side, almost to the very edge of his cheek. Bigger than his eyes. All right. Other side, almost all the way over to the left. His cheeks, his little rosy cheeks are bigger than his eyes, right? So the circle for his eyes, these are a little bigger than them, okay? There we go. All right, so let's go do his ears, the little black part of his ears, little black markings. So all we do is go like this, right? Their ear, just like that. All right, are we missing anything on his body? Nothing. Only thing left is his tail. So let's work on that tail. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with this top line here. We can start down here, that would work too, but I want to start with this. So if I come across this, so where does this start? How far away from his cheek, or where in reference to his body is it? It's almost to the top of his cheek. Top of his cheek is right here. It's actually the furthest part of his cheek, sticking out this way on the original. So we'll use that as a reference point. So about right here. Okay, that is this right here. So I make my little mark. Make a little mark right there. Okay, and then where's this point? That point is about right over here. It's a little higher. It's a little higher up than this. So if I went across like this and I go up, there it is. Now I'm going to connect those two. It's curved, goes up a little bit, then it comes down. All right. Now, where does this go? Where does this go? It goes down to here, which is right about where his little line on his arm starts. Almost, right? So we'll use that as reference. This is where his arm is, right about here. Draw a little line across. This one's just for reference. So this line right here kind of angles up. Okay, so that line is this line. Now we're going to connect this point to that point. So that point to that point. Here we go. There we go. Cool. What's left? This little line right here. Okay, and that little line goes down to about. So if we were to go halfway down his body, would be about halfway, be about right here. Go a little further than that. So find a little halfway mark. We already have a line there. Come a little further than that. Actually, no. Let's do this. Let's make this line across first. Okay, we're going to make this line. So same thing, about halfway from the middle. So about here's the middle of the body. Go a little further down. So find that halfway point. Go, which is this. Further down. This is our line. There we go. Now what happens? We're going to connect those two lines across like this. So these two lines are going to connect. Just like that. All right. Very cool. Now let's do this bottom line. So we just go a little further down from this line here, come across. There we go. Now from there, we can go up. Now we have this line. All right. We don't want to go too high up, right? Because so this line here, this part here doesn't go up as high as this. So find a little spot before that, there, and stop. Now we can make a line that goes across like this. This one here. Okay. And then from there it goes up. But watch, it goes up slightly at an angle to the left. So here we go. About like that. Look at that. Okay. Now from there we go across, but we don't go all the way across to meet this line here, right? As far out as this one. We got to stop before we get to that point. So here we go. Right about there. Now what are we going to do with this? So if we just made this line right here, what do we have to do? Connect that to that. All right, connect these two. So there we go. Look at that. Look at that. All right. Now let's go ahead and do this right here. This little colored part of his tail. So that's between right here and right here. So 1, 2, 3. All right. Cool. Are we missing anything? I think we got it all. Got all of Pikachu's body. And now we can go through and make some little adjustments, right? If we need to make adjustments, we can go ahead and do them now. Let's see. I'm going to hold this up a little bit. So this little Pikachu's a little shorter than the original. That's all right. Nothing big about that. He's also a little tiny bit wider. Nothing big. There, either if I wanted to, I could go in there and make the adjustments to make him look a little closer to that. But yeah, let me do a couple of them. So I'm gonna narrow up his body a little bit, so he looks a little less squat. So I'm just taking this line and bringing it in a little bit, just a little bit. I'll do the same thing with this one. So again, all I'm doing is taking the sides of his body like this and making them a little bit, just a touch narrower, so he doesn't look quite as squat. Okay, what else can we do? I can come in here and erase all those extra lines that I created, like my reference lines. I can erase those, take those out of there. Just cleaning everything up. The ones right over his eyes and around his nose. Just clean all of that up. Okay, there we go. We got his mouth. Maybe make his mouth a little curvier. The edges of his mouth a little more curved. Maybe make his little nose a little bit more refined. Yeah, I think we got him. We nailed Pikachu. All right. Let me go ahead and come in with a marker and outline him. This always gets a little tricky because the marker that I'm using is on the thicker side. I have to be really careful I don't use the real thick side. So I'm going to start with the top of his head. Okay. The little line comes in a little bit. Let's do his ear. Down and over. Let's come down. This outlining part, you at home don't have to do this. The outlining is for you guys to be able to see it. If I come in and paint Pikachu, and I might do it, this will help me, have an outline for him. But it's not necessary. I can always do this with a brush, right? One of my paint brushes. All right. There we go. Look at that. Now you see if you're watching, hopefully you're watching and following along. And I would love to see your drawing. If you could send it to me, I have an email at the bottom. This goes for all of you as well. Send me your pictures of the stuff that you do. I would love to see what you guys do. So the email for my YouTube channel is Kidzone Artapalooza. Kids with a Z. Okay. And again, I'll have it listed at the bottom. You guys can look for that. And yeah, I would love to see you guys' pictures. All right, here we go. His feet. This is where things get a little tricky. I gotta be careful and use the very skinny edge of. There we go. Lift this up a little bit so that I can. All right. His little hands. Whoops. All right. I'm going to grab this and turn it so I can get a better angle. Otherwise, I might mess it up. I got to get me a skinnier marker is what I got to do. Pointier. Mouth. His little eyes. Pupils on the inside of his eyes. Oh, his little nose. That's going to be tricky. Here we go. And bam! There is Mr. Pikachu. Mr. Pikachu, I might as well color in his ear, the dark areas of his body, like his ears. I'll do his eyes. Okay. Just like that. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pull out some paints and paint Pikachu. All right. I'm going to pause the video. I'll be right back. All right, everyone, I'm back. Sorry, I had a little bit of technical difficulties. I was just trying to pause the video, but it turned the camera off. Anyway, I know, let's do some painting. Let's paint Mr. Pikachu. Got a little bit of yellow here, white and black. This is acrylic paint. Got my little water cup and some brushes here that I'll be using. These guys right here will do. Probably could use a little skinnier one. You know what? Never mind. Give me 1 second. Oh, I got one. A little skinny brush. Just 3 different brushes that we're going to use for this. All right, let's start with Pikachu's body, which is just yellow, right? So I got my yellow. Do this. Actually, I'm going to take a little bit of my water from my cup. I'm dipping my brush in my water cup. I'm doing this. The water helps the paint flow a little bit better. So there we go. All right. Let's do this. Hopefully the ink's all dry, because if not, it's going to smear into my paint. I don't want that to happen. There we go. All right. I'm just going to use this bigger brush for the big parts of Pikachu's body, and I'll use the skinnier ones to do the small little edges areas. I'm trying to avoid painting over my black lines, because if they're still wet, like I said, they're going to smear into my paint, and that's not going to look good. So, all right, look at Pikachu. I'm using acrylic paint, which is pretty quick drying. With acrylic paint, this will be dry in just a matter of a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes, if that, depending on how hot it is. And my paint broom is warm, but it's not super warm. Either way, it'll dry pretty quickly. So, all right, let me do his tail. Like I said, I'm using the big brush to do the big areas first. There we go. I'll come in with a smaller brush and do the small areas in just a second. All right, just like that. Take my brush, put it back in my cup, my water cup. I'm going to take this little one right here, this little flat brush. If you guys have crayons, if you guys have colored pencils, and you guys want to color Pikachu, please do so. If you guys have watercolors, markers, whatever you got, right? Like I said before, you don't have to use the exact same thing I'm using, but if you have acrylic paints and brushes, then yeah, absolutely use them. Parents, if you're watching and you guys are thinking about getting your kids some paints, acrylic paints are really nice. They're bright. They last a long time, but they can definitely stain your clothing. So if you're getting acrylic paint, just keep in mind you want to make sure the kids are wearing clothes that you wouldn't mind getting dirty, permanently staining, because definitely can happen. I know. Or you can use tempera paint. Tempera paint generally does not stain clothing. I say generally because I can't guarantee that every tempera paint is the same. So there we go, right around there. All right, let's do the black part around his eyeballs. Just like this. Okay. Then this part I believe is gray. Oh, I don't even know what color that. I don't even know what color that is. I don't know what color that is on Pikachu. I'm gonna have to look that up in a second. I do believe this is gray. If I get it wrong, kids, please forgive me. Macy, please forgive me if I get the colors wrong. I watched Pikachu the movie. I even took one of my nieces to watch Pikachu the movie. Two of my nieces, Daniela and Isabella. Hi, girls. I don't know if you guys watch my channel, but I took them to watch Pikachu not too long ago. So if I get this wrong, I do apologize. I'm gonna make his cheeks pink orange. Let me grab that paint. But yeah, so I took my nieces to watch Pikachu. You'd think I would remember, right? But I do not. So forgive me. I got some red paint over here. Maybe I can use that, and I'll mix that with white and make his cheeks pink. Maybe his cheeks are orange. I don't know. Guys, forgive me. Maybe I need to look this up. I should look it up. Give me a second. I'm gonna look this up. Okay, so I looked it up, and his cheeks are a reddish color, not pink, like a bright red. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a little bright red on his cheeks, and then the little part of his tail down here. I guess that's kind of like a brown, almost like an orange brown. It looks like different pictures. In different pictures, he has it different colors, but it looks like an orange brown. So got a little orange on my palette and a little bit of brown. We're gonna mix those two together. Actually, I got some red. We're gonna mix that with some yellow to make orange. Red and yellow make orange. Okay, for those of you that don't know, red and yellow make orange. Now I'm gonna take a little bit of this brown because I do have some brown, and I'll mix those together. And we're gonna do his little tail. Just like this. Just like that. All right, look at Pikachu. He's looking cool. One last thing that I want to do is I want to add some white to the inside of his eyeballs, little pupils. And to be a little bit bigger than what I did on my drawing. So in other words, these little parts right here, that and that, I want those a little bigger. Maybe a little too big. That's all right. Nothing too bad. And there we go. And this one too. Should have grabbed a skinnier brush. It's all right. We'll make do. We'll make do with what we have. All right. Cool. How is that? I'm going to sign my painting. I'm going to use the red. And I'm going to come over. And I'm going to write Jesse. All right. I could use a smaller brush on that too. But that's all right. There we go. All right, boys and girls. There's our Mr. Pikachu. Check him out. Macy, check that out. Send me your request, guys. Send me your request. Don't leave me just yet. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. That was our video tutorial for today. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. Macy, I want to say thank you again so much for requesting this. This was a lot of fun. Very first time I've done Pikachu and definitely enjoyed myself. Hope you all did as well. If you guys followed along with me, please send me your pictures. I'd love to see what you guys are creating on my channel. I've had a few people send me some of their stuff, and it's a lot of fun to see what it is that you guys are creating. The email address is kidzoneartapalooza@gmail.com, kidzoneartapalooza@gmail.com. I'll have the Gmail listed below so you guys can see that. Also, let me know what you guys want me to draw on here. What do you guys want to see a tutorial on? Put it down in the comment section. Your favorite cartoon character. Maybe there's an animal that you guys want to see on here. Put it down in the comment section below, and maybe I will do a video on that. If you guys haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the little alert notification icon. And I'm thinking next week I'm going to possibly do the llama from Fortnite. So we'll see. Anyhow, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys all so much for being here with me today. And I will hopefully see you guys all very, very soon. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.